So I'm going to highlight here the difference between find inverse and use composition to verify inverse. So both of these topics are in the same section of your textbook, chapter 6-2. Write that down if you need to do some reading to help you remember it. Chapter 6-2. Find inverse versus use inverse. Use composition to verify inverse. So find inverse just entails switching x and y and getting y alone. Right? That's what we talked about on inverse day. So I included like steps, and I said step 1, rewrite instead of f of x, just write it with a y. So this is y equals 1/3 times the square root of x, and then we switch it up. Inverse switches x and y. And then here's where questions happen. Depending on the type of function or equation you have, the steps are different every time. So you really have to rely on like previous knowledge, figuring out how you're going to isolate y again. So here we're going to cancel this fraction. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal. 1/3 times 3/1 is 1. So 3x equals the square root of y. Cancel the 3's. And what would we do next to get y alone? Savannah? To cancel a radical, use square root. Those are inverse operations. The inverse of a square root is an exponent of 2. So if you want to cancel it, you square it. So that leaves us with 9x squared, because you square both the 3 and the x, equals y. Well, I'd like to write it with function notation. So I'm going to do f will -1. And then that's a great final answer. What's that? That's just a symbol that means inverse. So this is how like a reader can see, oh, well, this was the original, and this has the -1, so that's the inverse of that original. Matches them up. Who else has a question on finding inverse? So in your assignment, when we did that, we did all like linear equations. They didn't have the square root in there. I think we did one where it was x squared. Then we did one in notes as well. But just know it could just get more and more interesting as the equation changes. Okay. So number 2 says use composition to verify inverse. So we're wondering if this and this are inverse functions. And you can prove it doing f of g and g of f. So we're going to do the fog, which means you take whatever g is and you put it into f. And then when we're done with that, we'll go the other way. If they are truly inverse, what should happen when you put them into each other? Victoria? No, I don't think it was that. If they're truly inverse, what should happen when you plug them into each other? Yeah, you just have x left. All the numbers cancel out and you have x left. Keely? Okay. I squared both sides in this step here. So I squared the 3 and the x.
Yeah, and then that would be 9.
The x is also.
But why do you have the squared there again?
Let me write it separate. Like, watch this. So this is my equation right now. 3 times x is the square root of y. Same thing, right? The black, right? Okay. So I'm squaring this. That means I have to square this.
Okay.
And this.
I get it now.
Making 9x squared. So they're both going in there. Other good questions? Good question. Okay. So I have to take whatever is g, this whole thing, and put it into f right there. So I'm going to do 4 parentheses 2 square root x, and there's a little 2 on the outside. So now I'll simplify. I'm going to do 2 squared and the square root of x squared. The 4 is still outside. 2 squared is 4. The square root of x squared is x. So this is like, this is probably a little uncomfortable. That's not something you're super familiar with. The square root of x is x. So the 2 squared gives us a 4. You're on board with the 4. The square root of x squared is just x by itself. It's not x squared. That is the radical and the exponent cancel. And that's the same as this. This is just fact. Not fact. So this is actually 16x. And if they were true inverses, it would just be x there. The 16 wouldn't be there. So I'm going to say that f of x and g of x are not inverse. And I could even go further if I wanted to show. I would say because f of g of x does not equal x. So this is a full statement justifying my work. The composition did not equal x, so they are not inverse. This is a good statement here.
You do have to correct it for it.
Alright, y'all, any more questions? I'm reviewing these 2 inverse problems. First, finding inverse and then verifying inverse. Okay, I want to show you and I want to check the handout I gave you yesterday, so get that out. Okay. I did all the graphs with you. No, it's Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Do those never work for you, those 3? Okay. So what's this for though? What's it for? What do you need to do? Well, I can't find the handout. You can do it. I know you can. Here it is. Okay. Oh, it's just not the clearest. Number 8, so flip your paper over. Did I show answers for the entire front yesterday in class? I can go back. Okay, so number 8 was the reflection across the x-axis, a horizontal translation of -4, and a vertical translation of -1. Number 9, you rewrite as a square root. Horizontal translation of 3, vertical translation of 2. Number 12, reflection across y-axis because the negative is under the radical. And a vertical translation of 4. Number 13, reflection across x-axis. Horizontal translation -4. Vertical translation of 5. How many people need this handout? They were not like yesterday. Okay. Today, do you have some questions?
Oh,
Do you
no.
need to make anything more clear?
I was confused on the numbering system there. And
Oh, okay. Correct.
I didn't get it.
when it's outside, it's something at the X. When it's inside,
I get half
it's
credit.
something at the Y.
Paige, will you flip yours? Joanna, will you flip yours?
Oh, we can
Yeah,
do
yesterday.
Thank you.
Let me know. I can go back to the front. Here's the bottom of the front. Such a bummer how blurry that is. Alright, so today you guys are working on inverses. You have to show work on these. It's a matching activity, so lots of kids are going to be very clever and not try to show work, but I want you to try to if you don't. So keep your notebook out. what it looks like. It's 8 problems. You're switching x and y and getting y alone. The answers are here. So you use a straight edge. Maybe you have a ruler. Maybe you use the edge of a book or a folder. You draw a line from the number to the answer. And then the letters you go through, you put in the top, and it's a riddle. So make sure you show work on your notebook paper. I just feel like people might already know the answer to this riddle. Listen, if you know the answer to the riddle, don't shout it out.
Can we write on this?
Yes, this is for you, but you have to show work somewhere. Okay, don't say it. Torian, did you give it away? Keep your riddles to yourself. Don't ruin it for everybody. You just can't help yourselves. You draw a line from the number to the answer. That's how you find the letter.
Wait, what?
So number 1 on your paper, find the inverse. Alright, so this first one is y equals 3x plus 5.